Good morning, everyone. I want to talk about change, real, life-altering change, not the kind of change we write down as New Year's resolutions and forget by February. I'm talking about the kind of change that rewires how we show up in the world, how we see ourselves, and how we engage with others. It sounds monumental, doesn't it? And yet, it starts with just one step. That step is choosing courage over comfort, as comfort is a place most of us instinctively avoid. It's unsettling, it's messy, and it often feels like failure is lurking just around the corner. But here's the thing, discomfort is where growth happens. I think about the last time you accomplished something meaningful. Was it easy? Probably not. You likely faced moments of doubt, fear, and struggle. Those moments, as uncomfortable as they were, shaped you. They stretched your capacity and revealed your strength. Discomfort is a catalyst. It's the space where transformation begins. Leaning into discomfort isn't about liking it. It's not about pretending it doesn't feel hard or scary. It's about recognizing that discomfort is part of the process. It's about resisting the urge to run or numb yourself when things get tough. Instead, it's saying, this is hard, but I'm here. I'm staying. I'm learning. Here's why discomfort is so powerful. It's a teacher. Discomfort reveals what you need to know. It shows you your blind spots, your fears, and the areas in your life where you need to grow. For example, if you're afraid to speak up in a meeting, the discomfort isn't just about the meeting, it's about your relationship with your voice, your confidence, and maybe even your self-worth. Discomfort points you to the work you need to do. It builds resilience. The more you lean into discomfort, the more you expand your capacity to handle challenges. Resilience isn't built when life is easy, it's forged in the fire of adversity. Each time you face something hard and choose to show up, you prove to yourself that you can survive and even thrive in difficult situations. It breaks down barriers. Discomfort forces you to confront the stories you've been telling yourself. Stories like, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, people will judge me. When you push through the discomfort, you start to see those stories for what they are, limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. It's a path to authenticity. True connection and fulfillment come from being authentic, and authenticity often requires vulnerability. Vulnerability is inherently uncomfortable. It's exposing parts of yourself that you'd rather hide. But when you lean into that discomfort, you create space for real, meaningful relationships with others and with yourself. Practical ways to lean into discomfort. Start small, begin with low-stakes situations. Maybe it's speaking up in a casual conversation or trying something new, like a hobby or fitness class. Build your discomfort muscle gradually. Pause instead of reacting when discomfort arises. Notice your instinctive reaction. Do you want to avoid, distract, or fight it? Instead, pause. Sit with the feeling. Ask yourself, what is this discomfort trying to teach me? Reframe discomfort as growth when discomfort shows up. Remind yourself that it's not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're stretching yourself. Visualize the growth on the other side. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who encourage and challenge you. Share your experiences and let others remind you that discomfort is normal and survivable. Celebrate small wins each time you lean into discomfort. No matter how small the moment, acknowledge it. You're building a habit. And every step counts. The truth is, leaning into discomfort isn't about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to step into the unknown despite the fear. Because the things you want most, the meaningful relationships, owning your story is one of the most courageous and transformative acts you can undertake. Your story, every chapter of it shapes who you are, how you see the world, and how you engage with others. Yet for many of us, parts of our story feel too painful, too messy, or too flawed to embrace. Here's the truth: you cannot change or rewrite what you refuse to own. Owning your story means acknowledging your experiences, choices, and feelings, all of it. the good, the bad, and the parts you wish you could hide. It's about stepping out of denial, blame, or shame and stepping into radical self-acceptance. Why owning your story matters. It gives you power over your narrative. When you disown parts of your story, you give away your power. Those unacknowledged pieces can control you in ways you don't even realize through fear, resentment, or unresolved pain. By owning your story, you reclaim that power. You say, this is my life. These are my experiences. They don't define me, but they have shaped me. It breaks the cycle of shame. Shame thrives in secrecy. The more you hide from your story, the more shame can take root. Owning your story means bringing it into the light, even the parts that feel uncomfortable or embarrassing. When you do, shame begins to lose its grip. You realize that your worth isn't tied to perfection, it's tied to authenticity. It creates space for growth. You can't grow if you're stuck in denial or blame. Owning your story allows you to learn from your past rather than be imprisoned by it. It helps you see patterns, take responsibility for your choices, and make better decisions moving forward. It strengthens connection. When you own your story, you give others permission to do the same. Vulnerability is contagious. Sharing your truth, even the messy parts, invites deeper, more authentic connections. People relate to your humanity, not your perfection. It helps you rewrite the future. Your story is not set in stone. Owning it doesn't mean you're defined by it. Means you're in control of how the next chapters unfold. You can take the lessons from your past and use them to create a life that aligns with your values and dreams. How to own your story. Acknowledge all parts of it. Start by recognizing every part of your story, the triumphs and the failures, the joy and the pain. Journaling can be a powerful tool for this. Write about the moments that have shaped you, even the ones you'd rather forget. Take responsibility without self-blame. Owning your story doesn't mean beating yourself up for past mistakes. It means taking responsibility for your actions while showing yourself compassion. You're human, and humans make mistakes. When we think about change, we often envision grand gestures and monumental shifts. We dream of quitting a toxic job overnight, losing a significant amount of weight in weeks, or transforming our lives with one giant leap. But here's the truth: real, lasting change isn't built on dramatic transformations. It's built on small, consistent steps. Small steps matter because they are sustainable, approachable, and incredibly powerful over time. They are the foundation of any meaningful journey. Why small steps are so important? They build momentum. Taking small steps helps you get started, and starting is often the hardest part. Each tiny action builds confidence and creates forward momentum. Over time, these small steps compound, leading to significant progress. Think of it like climbing a mountain. If you focus solely on the peak, it can feel overwhelming. But when you focus on putting one foot in front of the other step by step, the climb becomes manageable. Before you know it, you're further along than you ever thought possible. They create habits. Change isn't just about achieving a big goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who can sustain that goal. Small steps allow you to build habits that integrate change into your daily life. For example, committing to 5 minutes of exercise a day may not seem like much, but it lays the groundwork for a consistent fitness routine. They reduce fear and resistance. Big changes can feel intimidating, triggering fear and self-doubt. Small steps, on the other hand, are less overwhelming. They lower the stakes and make it easier to take action. Instead of worrying about whether you'll succeed or fail, you can focus on simply doing the next right thing. They foster consistency. Consistency beats intensity every time. A one-time burst of effort might feel productive, but it rarely leads to lasting results. Small, regular actions create consistency, and consistency is what leads to transformation. They make room for adjustments. Life is unpredictable. Sometimes our big plans don't unfold the way we expect. Small steps allow you to adapt and pivot as needed without feeling like you've lost everything. They give you the flexibility to refine your approach while staying on course. How to embrace small steps. Start with what you can control. Focus on the actions that are within your power right now. If your goal feels overwhelming, break it down into smaller, actionable steps. For instance, if you want to write a book, start by committing to writing 100 words a day. Celebrate every win. Don't wait until you achieve the big goal to celebrate. Recognize and honor every small victory along the way. Each step forward is progress, and acknowledging it builds motivation to keep going. Focus on progress, not perfection. Small steps are about moving in the right direction, not about doing everything perfectly. Give yourself grace when you stumble, and remember that progress is what matters most. Anchor steps to your daily routine. Integrate your small steps into your existing habits. For example, if you're trying to drink more water, start by drinking a glass first thing in the morning or pairing it with meals. Trust the compound effect. Understand that small steps add up over time. They may not feel impactful in the moment, but their cumulative effect can be life-changing. Think of it like saving money. A little bit saved each day can grow into a substantial amount over time. The power of small steps in action. Imagine someone who feels overwhelmed by clutter in their home. Decluttering the entire house in one day might feel impossible, but committing to cleaning just one drawer or one corner of a room each day, that's manageable. After a few weeks, those small efforts can transform the entire space. Or think about someone starting a fitness journey. Running a marathon might seem out of reach, but walking for 10 minutes a day is doable. Over time, those walks can turn into jogs, then runs, and eventually a marathon becomes achievable. Connection is at the heart of human existence. We are wired for relationships, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or communities. Yet building deep, meaningful connections often feels elusive, especially in a world where surface-level interactions are the norm. Owning your story and showing up authentically strengthens these connections in profound ways. When you take steps to connect intentionally, you create space for trust, understanding, and empathy to grow. The courage to be vulnerable, sharing your truths, embracing imperfection, and inviting others to do the same is what fosters relationships that truly matter. Why connection matters. It fulfills a basic human need. Research shows that a sense of belonging and meaningful relationships is as critical to our well-being as food and shelter. Strong connections reduce stress, improve mental health, and even enhance physical health. It gives life meaning, flaws, fears, and all you invite others to do the same. This vulnerability creates a foundation of trust, showing others that they can be themselves without fear of judgment. It's not about airing every detail of your life, but about being real in moments that matter. Authenticity attracts authenticity. When you stop pretending to be perfect or hiding parts of your story, you attract people who value you for who you truly are. Authenticity resonates deeply and creates a natural bond. Shared stories foster empathy. We all have struggles, joys, and experiences that shape us. When you own and share your story, you tap into the universal truths of human experience. This fosters empathy and reminds others and yourself that no one is alone in their journey. It breaks down barriers. Many of the walls we build in relationships stem from fear of rejection, judgment, or misunderstanding. Owning your story and showing up vulnerably breaks down these barriers, creating space for deeper connection and mutual understanding. Practical ways to strengthen connection. Show up fully present. In an age of distractions, being fully present is one of the greatest gifts you can give someone. Listen actively, make eye contact, and genuinely engage in conversations. Share your story bit by bit. You don't have to share your entire life story in one sitting, but be willing to open up in meaningful ways. Share a challenge you faced, a lesson you've learned, or a moment that shaped you. Practice empathy. Connection is a two-way street. Be curious about others' stories, listen without judgment, and strive to understand their perspective. Empathy is the bridge between hearts. Celebrate vulnerability. When someone else opens up to you, honor their courage. Respond with kindness and gratitude, showing them that their vulnerability is safe with you. Create rituals of connection. Whether it's a weekly phone call, a regular coffee date, or a shared activity, consistent rituals strengthen relationships over time. The ripple effect of strong connections. When you strengthen connections in your life, the effects extend far beyond you. Authentic relationships create ripple effects, inspiring others to open up, be vulnerable, and connect more deeply. They contribute to building communities where trust and understanding thrive. Consider a workplace where colleagues feel connected. When people trust and support one another, collaboration improves, creativity flourishes, and conflict is resolved more easily. Or think about families where openness and vulnerability they make room for adjustments. One of the most overlooked yet vital benefits of taking small steps is their flexibility. Life is full of unexpected changes, circumstances shift, priorities evolve, and sometimes things just don't go as planned. When your approach is based on small, incremental steps, it becomes much easier to adapt without losing sight of your larger goal. In contrast, big, sweeping changes often leave little room for error. If they fail or meet resistance, the fallout can feel catastrophic, leading to discouragement or even abandonment of the goal altogether. Small steps, however, allow for continuous course correction, making your path to success far more resilient and sustainable. Why adjustments matter. Life is unpredictable. No matter how carefully you plan, life has a way of throwing curveballs. Whether it's an unforeseen work deadline, a family emergency, or just a shift in your energy level, circumstances can change in ways you didn't anticipate. Small steps give you the flexibility to adapt without losing momentum. For example, if your goal is to exercise every day and your schedule suddenly gets hectic, you can scale back from a 30-minute workout to a 10-minute stretch. Goals often evolve. As you make progress, you may discover that your original goal needs refining. Perhaps you set out to run a marathon, but realize halfway through your training that you're more interested in strength training than long-distance running. Small steps allow you to pivot without feeling like you've wasted time or effort. They give you the space to explore and redefine your objectives. Mistakes become learning opportunities. When you take small steps, mistakes aren't catastrophic, they're manageable. If one approach doesn't work, you can quickly adjust without feeling like you've derailed your entire plan. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier and a particular meal plan doesn't suit your lifestyle, you can experiment with a new one that they make room for adjustments. One of the most overlooked yet vital benefits of taking small steps is their flexibility. Life is full of unexpected changes, circumstances shift, priorities evolve, and sometimes things just don't go as planned. When your approach is based on small, incremental steps, it becomes much easier to adapt without losing sight of your larger goal. In contrast, big, sweeping changes often leave little room for error. If they fail or meet resistance, the fallout can feel catastrophic, leading to discouragement or even abandonment of the goal altogether. Small steps, however, allow for continuous course correction, making your path to success far more resilient and sustainable. Why adjustments matter. Life is unpredictable. No matter how carefully you plan, life has a way of throwing curveballs, whether it's an unforeseen work deadline, a family emergency, or just a shift in your energy levels. Circumstances can change in ways you didn't anticipate. Small steps give you the flexibility to adapt without losing momentum. For example, if your goal is to exercise every day and your schedule suddenly gets hectic, you can scale back from a 30-minute workout to a 10-minute stretch. Goals often evolve. As you make progress, you may discover that your original goal needs refining. Perhaps you set out to run a marathon, but realize halfway through your training that you're more interested in strength training than long-distance running. Small steps allow you to pivot without feeling like you've wasted time or effort. They give you the space to explore and redefine your objectives. Mistakes become learning opportunities. When you take small steps, mistakes aren't catastrophic, they're manageable. If one approach doesn't work, you can quickly adjust without feeling like you've derailed your entire plan. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier and a particular meal plan doesn't suit your lifestyle, you can experiment with a new one, the ending of the speech. As we wrap up, I want to remind you of this: meaningful change doesn't require you to be fearless, perfect, or to have everything figured out. It only asks for one thing: your willingness to take the next step, however small or uncomfortable it may feel. When you lean into discomfort, you grow. When you own your story, you take back your power. When you embrace the small steps, you create a path forward that is steady, flexible, and transformative. And remember, the beauty of this journey is that you don't have to do it all at once. Big, extraordinary changes are simply the sum of tiny, consistent actions taken with courage and intention. So I challenge you to take that one key step today. Show up for yourself. Choose courage over comfort. Do the next right thing, no matter how small it seems. Because when you take that step, you're not just moving forward, you're creating a ripple effect. You're rewriting your story. You're changing everything. Thank you.